morning and welcome to the Connections pre-show. My name is Layla.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And happy Sunday.
Woohoo!
It's Sunday again, the best day of the week.
Oh my gosh, my favorite day of the week.
We are so grateful that you guys are tuning in with us today. Maybe some of you guys are heading in. Maybe some of you guys are going to continue to watch the service at home. Whichever it is, we hope that you guys enjoy the service today.
Yeah.
And the worship, of course.
Oh,
also.
of course.
I'm not sure which one's better. Are you singing today?
I am.
Aw,
Yeah.
Well, it's probably going to be worship then. Check on that. Decision made. Well, before we get into all of these housekeeping items, we just want to direct your attention over to the QR code.
I nailed that
Yeah, you
point.
did. Woo. You're getting
Andy,
good at this.
I've been practicing at my house.
Yeah.
I just go, bing. Oh, there we go. Andy
You
was
wake
so
up and
proud
you're
of me.
like-
I know. Oh, good morning.
You're almost getting better than Andy.
Wow.
Maybe because
Hear that, Andy?
Andy never shows up anymore.
Yeah, sucker.
We'll talk about Andy a little bit more here in a
Yeah.
moment. But you're probably like, what is that QR code for? Why do I need to scan that? You would want to scan that if you have any questions for our leadership. If you're new, we would definitely encourage you to scan that because we'll just get some basic information from you, so that will allow us to send you a little welcome gift and formally welcome you to Connections. But that's kind of a catch-all. That's where we would direct, even existing members, church members, if they had questions too.
Yeah.
So that is the best way to get to our staff.
Yeah, we love the QR code.
Yes, and it's so like 21st century, right?
Oh yeah,
It's
we're
a little
like
scanny.
cool.
We're
We're
so
like the
techie
cool
here.
church with the QR code. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Andy is obviously not here today, but
Yeah. Although I look so much like him.
and your
like,
name is
I know.
Andy on the screen.
I'll go by Andy. It's fine.
That's
It's
okay.
fine. Yeah,
You're-
we're basically twins.
Basically, I
You
can hardly
barely
tell the
Yeah,
difference.
it's not like I'm like down here.
No, not at all. Different genders, nothing.
No, absolutely nothing.
But yeah, Mr. Andy is at snow camp today with the
Yes.
youth group, which looks like so much fun.
So fun and so cold.
Yes.
I
I loved the video yesterday with the,
my gosh,
the
yes.
polar plunge.
The polar plunge, yes. Andy,
Nope.
Xander, and Zach Post, and also some of the girls. Josh sent me a like separate video.
Oh my gosh.
Ran in, literally like into like a lake or something, and
Couldn't
it
do
was
it.
like no,
Couldn't do
no.
it. Yeah, they are very brave. That is awesome, though.
Yeah, I
And-
can't even imagine. That would be terrible.
And it looks like they're having so much fun with all
Yes.
the other activities.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
and-
like broom ball,
Yes.
sledding, I think,
Yeah.
like tubing, whatever.
Do they come home today?
Yes,
Okay.
they do.
Well,
Mhm.
we will definitely be asking Andy all the
Oh
questions
my gosh,
next
yeah.
Sunday
We'll
to
like
hear about
interrogate
the
him.
fun.
Be like, what did you do?
Yes. He's going to still be like
I know.
chattering like,
Yeah.
we
He's like,
did a polar plunge.
Yes. Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. So thank you to all of the staff that went with the youth group
Yes.
this weekend for the snow camp. We greatly
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. And we
It was a
hope,
big group of kids, too.
yeah, we hope everyone's having a really good time.
Yes.
All right. So I have a joke this week.
Oh my gosh, I
Like I
can't
do
wait.
every week.
Yes, I got to get in my Andy.
Yeah. And remember, he's not doing the boy. He's doing the thing you told him to do, the
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
I can handle that.
Okay.
It's better than
All right.
the oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty good.
That was really good. See, you guys really are very similar.
Okay.
All right. What did the horse say when he tripped?
What?
Help! I've fallen and I can't giddy up. Makes it better when you do a little southern twang.
That was
Okay,
like, that was
giddy
so
up.
long. So long until you got to the joke.
I know, you were like on
I
the
know, I
edge
was
of your
like, where's
seat.
this going? That was good. I liked that one.
Thanks.
Wow,
Which one
good
would
job.
you pick? The oh boy or the nah?
I would do like,
You were
It-
speechless.
I know.
I got nothing.
I know. I can't. I don't even know how to react to that because it was so good.
It was so good or so bad, as Andy would say.
I loved it. Andy isn't here, so he can't say it was bad. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yes.
Nailed it.
I might have to
Nailed
talk
it.
about Andy being sometimes not here more than often. Just kidding,
Yes.
Andy. We love you. It's not the
Yeah.
same without you, but
Yeah.
it's pretty great when I get to hang out with you too. I
Yeah.
bet Andy feels the same when he gets to hang out with
Oh
you
yeah,
in my place.
he has to keep me in line though. That's like the one time Andy's like, "Come
Yeah.
on," because
he's
I just
pretty-
go off in my own little world.
Yeah, he's pretty like
I know.
order of operations. Like, let's get down to business.
I know.
Andy.
Lame.
All right. Well, he usually does a movie review.
Oh.
What would Elizabeth like to talk about this morning?
I don't even know.
Don't know?
I do know.
Ooh, okay.
We are going to talk about something that's on here,
Yes.
but is like super cool and kind of
Yeah.
like everything I do.
Everything is super cool.
Yes.
That Elizabeth does.
It's social media. So we are on. We're obviously on YouTube or Facebook if you're watching one of these. So we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
Tweet, tweet. I don't even know what we say for
Instagram,
Twitter.
TikTok. I think that's all of them. Unless
That's
there's
a
like some
lot.
secret ones that like people be starting without me.
Yes.
That would be crazy. But we're going to do a little something. We're going to make an Instagram story right now
Ooh.
that you will be able to see the results of if you follow us on Instagram. And that's the only way that you're going to see it. Are you ready? So, Layla, I'm going to have you do like a little dance, and then
Oh.
I'm going to go this way.
'Kay.
Okay? Or
Do-
maybe I'll start here, and then
'Kay.
it'll be you dancing. Are you
All right.
ready?
This is serious business,
yeah.
folks.
I got to like set this down.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay, ready?
All right. Here we go. My best dance move. Oh.
So, like, who wouldn't want to see that?
I know.
Follow us on Instagram
I know.
at ConnectionsMy3C. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
That is awesome. All right. I can't wait to see it.
Oh my
You guys should
gosh.
definitely be on the lookout.
Yes.
And just in general, please continue to check
Yes.
out our social media. That's where you can find out a lot of the information coming up
Yes.
as far as, upcoming events.
yeah.
And you
and
just
you get to see Dave dance.
Yes,
And
you-
this week, I got every single staff member
I
to
love
roll on
that.
the floor
That
and
was
then
amazing.
bounce on their bellies and then do this.
Yes.
So, if you want to see that, it's
Yeah.
great.
I think it just really shows a different side of
Yeah.
the church that you don't
That we're fun.
really get to see when you come in
Yeah.
on Sundays. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But it really just shows the core of who we are at,
Yeah.
at our hearts. So, which is
Check
a
it
lot of
out.
fun. A lot of fun.
Check it out. Okay,
Awesome.
Layla. We got
All
some
right.
stuff.
We got some stuff. All right. So, connection group signups are starting and have been going on for the last few
Right
weeks.
now.
Yes. So, I believe the groups are going to be starting, if not this week, but then, the following week.
Yeah.
So, if you're interested in joining a small
Yes.
group, you can
Groups are the
sign up.
best.
Yep, through our church
Yes.
app. And I believe it's through the events tile.
Yes.
And
or there's one that says find a group.
oh, yeah. So it's super easy.
Find a
And
group.
if you have any questions, you're like, I don't have the app, I don't want to do the
Yeah.
app, scan the QR code.
Yes.
We'll get you connected.
or talk to Perry. Perry
yes,
knows everything.
Perry is like the group's me, but there's so
Yes.
much fun. You get to make new friendships.
Oh my gosh, there's so many amazing
Yes.
people.
A lot of times
Yes.
there's an opportunity to help serve in the community through one of the,
Yeah.
one of the weeks through groups. And
Yes.
it's just a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh,
We
yeah.
usually, each group kind of picks what they want to focus on as far as like the study or the topic. Sometimes it goes, in correlation with what Pastor Dave's sharing, but highly, highly recommend it.
Yes.
Connections is all about our groups. That is like one of the main things we like to focus on. So we highly encourage you to check it out. Give it a try.
Yeah.
If maybe the first group you try isn't the right fit, you can
Find another one.
certainly look for another one. Yeah,
Because
we're
there's
all
groups
about it.
with couples, there's young adults, there's groups with kids. There's
Yes.
just so many things.
There's groups that
So
are
many.
for, parents or adults,
Yes.
and they can bring their kids. That's
Yes.
my group. It is
Yes.
a zoo.
It's
amazing.
a zoo. It's a
We
fun
embrace
zoo.
the crazy.
Yes. Yes. Alrighty. Along the same-ish lines, if you're new to Connections, we got a dinner for you.
Yeah.
So a family that has been coming here for a while, some of my favorite people, the Woolheis family,
Love them.
they open up their house and you can sign up to come to this dinner where you meet new people from church. There's a staff family that comes so you can kind of get to know them. You
Yeah.
obviously get to know the Woolheises. And it's just a great way to like meet people, and then you literally come to church on Sunday and you're like, oh my gosh, I know all these people.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yeah, you feel
That
part
is-
of the family.
Yes. That is on February 10th. You can sign up on the website or I believe on the app.
Yep. Event
Yeah.
style.
I most likely will be
happening
there
time.
if you bring your kids.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can also come hang out with me.
There you go. Love
Yes.
it. Well, let's turn things over to Miss
Yes,
Lexi, our
let's do
reporter in the
it.
field, and see what she's going to do out there. She
Oh my
usually
gosh.
asks a fun question. So
Yes.
turning it over to you, Lexi.
Good morning, Connections. I do have a fun question today. This might be my favorite question I've ever asked. So I'm starting with Tony. Good morning, Tony.
Morning.
All right, question of the day. If you were stuck on a desert island and you could have one of our staff members to help you survive, who would you pick?
Probably Steve, because he's been in the service, so he's probably learned some life or survival skills, so probably Steve.
That is an excellent choice. That is also who I would choose to be stuck on a desert island with. Also, he'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like, he'd just be fun to be stuck on.
He just starts singing songs and entertain us and stuff. Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking there'd be bonfires with, like, songs around the bonfire, praising Jesus. Like, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Thank you for answering my question. We're going to go on to the next person. I'm going to ask you. Good morning. It's a good question today, I promise. I promise. Okay. The question of the day. If you were stuck on a desert island and you could have one of our Connection staff members stuck on that island with you to help you survive, who would you choose?
Definitely your mom.
She's not a staff member anymore. My mom used to be a staff member here, but is not anymore. You have to pick somebody current. So Dave, Steve, Perry, Josh.
I'd pick you, Lexi.
I'm not a staff member. It has to be a staff member.
Well, there's not many to choose from.
Okay, Dave, Steve, Perry, Josh, or Tracy.
Or who's the last one?
Tracy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'd pick Tracy.
Why would you pick Tracy?
Oh, because she's fun.
She would be fun to be stuck on an island with.
I would definitely pick Tracy.
That's a good
laugh, and we wouldn't even know we were stranded, so.
Good choice. Cool. Thanks for answering my question. All right, we're going to go on to the next person. Hey, guys. Good morning. I'm going to ask you both a question. I'm going to come right in the middle of you guys. Okay. If you were stuck. Come here.
Oh, am I not in the frame?
No, you're not in the frame. Okay. If you guys were stuck on a desert island and you could have one staff member stuck on that island with you to help you survive, who would you choose?
I would choose Perry. I think he has the most life skills. Or Dave, but probably Perry. Perry.
I've been with my dad for 23 years, so I'll choose him.
You know, I also chose your dad. I feel like he'd be the best person to survive on an island with. Like, he was in the military, and he's fun, and he sings. Like,
he was in the military.
I was talking to Tony about that earlier. Like,
Yeah.
we would just sing and have bonfires, and it'd be so much fun. Are you sticking with Perry?
I might switch to Steve. I'm going to switch to Steve. Yeah.
Steve's getting all the votes this morning. All right, I have one more person we're going to ask, and then we'll turn it back over. Michaela, I told you I was going to come find you this morning and ask you a question. Yes. The question I'm asking you, if you were stuck on a desert island and you could have one staff member on that island stuck with you to help you survive, who would you choose?
Dave.
Why Dave?
I just feel like he would be the most entertaining one.
Valid. He would be.
Probably have like really good conversations together too.
Yes. Oh, that's so true. He would have good conversations. And like, he hikes. He's been in nature.
Yeah, he's a good person to have around.
That's a good choice. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Elizabeth and Layla. Who would you two choose?
That is so fun.
This is like my favorite question.
I agree. This is my favorite
It's so
question
good.
too. So
we
who
were
would you take?
talking, and we're like, do we say who we would or who we wouldn't?
I know.
I would probably choose my dad.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
You'd
him
be in big
and I
trouble.
have like the same brain, so we could
Yeah.
like figure it out and get
Yeah.
out of there.
I think I would take Pastor Dave, and my reasoning is
Yes.
because he
Nature.
super naturey, outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'd have
I
it
feel
covered.
bad. Sorry,
I
Josh.
wouldn't.
Josh, you? No one.
Poor Josh.
No one picked you.
I bet Josh probably has like A+ wilderness skills and would know all the things
I
to
feel
do.
like Josh was a Boy Scout, and I don't
I
know why,
know.
but that makes so much sense
I
in
could
my
see
brain.
that. I could see that. He probably
Josh,
has like.
please comment and tell us if you were ever a Boy Scout or if we're just going crazy.
Josh is gonna be like, you guys are gonna all perish
Yeah.
on this
Perish,
island.
yeah. Josh will be the first one out of here.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Well, that was so much fun.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you all. Put in the chat what your answer would be.
Yes.
What was the question again?
If you were stuck on a deserted island
Yes.
and you could bring one staff member, who would
it
you
be?
bring?
Love it.
Yes. So good.
All right, we have a couple more things
Yes.
before we
Speed
wrap
round.
up today. Yeah. So there is going to be a Connections Bake Off on February 18th from 1 to 3 here at church.
Woo.
So bakers, we need some bakers to bake like
Yes.
cookies or brownies, whatever
Yes.
it might be.
Everything.
If you're interested in making something, make sure that you have like a main like dish and then like set up like sample sizes for people
Mm-hmm. Yes.
to test because
So
the
good.
presentation is going to be looked at as well. And we'll need some taste testers too. So be on
Yes,
the lookout
please.
for more information about
yeah,
that.
who wouldn't want to come eat dessert?
Yes.
You got this.
That's
Okay,
right.
we got one more thing to talk about.
Yes.
March 5th. another volunteer appreciation dinner. So if you're a volunteer, please come have dinner. We want to show you how much we appreciate you because you are the best, and we wouldn't be able to have a service without you.
Yes.
So thank you for all you do. March 5th, right here.
Awesome. We're going to turn it over to worship. Thank us, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Well, good morning, Connections family. How's everybody doing this morning? Yeah, it is a great day. Every day that we can come together right here in this place and we can throw up our holy hands and we can worship our Lord is a great day. The snow's okay. I'm glad everybody made it in safe and sound. We are looking forward to that day where the snow will melt and the sun will come back out. But until then, we will rejoice in what the Lord has given us. We're so glad that you're here, whether you're here in person or whether you're watching online, we welcome you. If this is your first time joining us here at Connections, we just want to say welcome. And we have a special gift just for you, so please, after the service, stop by our welcome desk in the lobby. We have something special just for you. If you've been here many, many times, you know this is the time where we're going to stand together, we're going to worship, we're going to sing this out, we're going to celebrate who our God is. So stand with me as we begin this time this morning. I'm headed to a place where rivers flow. I'm headed to a place where the streets are gold. Oh, my soul, yes, I know. You won't need no money. You can bring your faith. Soon the day is coming. We will see His face. Choirs will be singing. Saints on bended knee. Angels will be dancing. We will all be free. God in all His glory. So we just sang, my suffering cannot compare to the weight of your glory. The weight of your glory. This God that we serve, this God that we worship this morning, his glory is huge. It's big. It covers everybody and everything. His mercies are new every morning. His glory rains down upon you and upon me. He is good. This God that we serve is good. And we worship him. We throw up holy hands and we sing this out. We unite our voices as one voice proclaiming who our God is. That he is a waymaker, miracle worker, the promise keeper, the light in the darkness, the King of kings, the Lord of lords. He is the one true and only God. We stand here this morning and we worship him. Sing this out with me. Lift it up. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. Sing that out again. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. We believe. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Sing this out to him. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. Lift it up. I worship you, yeah. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Isn't it comforting to know that our God is who he says he is? That he is the same that he was yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He is the waymaker. He is a miracle worker. Guys, he is this light in this world, city on the hill. He is our God. And no matter who we are, no matter how we came into this place full of gunk and sin and burdens that weigh us down, No matter who we were when we stepped into this place, it doesn't matter because our God is the same. He is who he says he is. And even when we don't see that he is working in this world, in our lives, when we can't feel that, when we feel lost and abandoned, we have to believe that our God is exactly who he says he is, and that his promises that he gives us will remain. And there's comfort in that, and there's joy in that. Sing this out with me. We'll lift this up to him.
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working.
Let this be your prayer. Let it be your cry this morning. Sing this out to the one true and only God. Lift it up and sing it to him.
You never stop working.
Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. Never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. Never stop, you never stop. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 That's who you are. Can't come back to the beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring. But I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be.
I'm not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again?
We gather in the presence of the Almighty God. He is here with us right now. We worship him. As I walk now through the valley, let your love rise above every fear, like the sun shaping the shadows. In my weakness, your glory appears. not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you want. Will you meet me here again? Heavenly Father, we give you this time to be in your presence. You're so blessed. Amen. You guys can be seated.
Good morning. Welcome to Connections. My name is Dave, one of the pastors here on staff. So glad that you are here, that you've joined us here live in the room, or maybe you're joining us online. Delighted that you're here any which way. And our prayer has been that God would use our moments this morning to do something transcendent, something significant that would change the way our life flows this coming week, all for the better. You know, there are some things in life that are just really easy to confuse. I mean, some everyday examples, like the alligator and the crocodile, right? They look the same, but they're actually different species of animal. I mean, the alligator, wide snout, loves to live in fresh water. The crocodile, narrow snout, will live in salt water or fresh water. In fact, there's only one place on earth where crocodiles and alligators cohabitate. You know where that is? The Everglades. Only place on earth you find them both together. Or sometimes we can mix up jam and jelly. I don't know if you have a preference. I'm a jam man. I like hunks of fruit in my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, especially when it's grilled oh so good, because jam has hunks of fruit in it and jelly, it doesn't. Maybe you mix up mule and donkey. Donkey is a species, but a mule is a hybrid between a horse and a donkey. They are sterile and cannot reproduce, which is maybe why they're so stubborn. I don't know. But maybe you mix up venomous and poisonous. Not the same thing. I mean, venomous is an animal that intentionally injects you with toxin by biting or stinging. But poisonous is a passive release of toxin because of a touch or because of eating. They're different. Or how about this? It's easy to mix these up, but we really can't. Non-flammable and inflammable don't mean the same thing. Non-flammable means really hard to burn. Inflammable means catches on fire quickly. Don't mix the two up. It's so easy to confuse them. Here's something even easier to confuse than all of those, and that is standard of living and quality of life. We so often tend to think they mean the same thing, but they don't. In fact, standard of living is all about how much money you make, what kind of things you can afford, you can buy, you can do because you got the means to do it. That's standard of living. But quality of life is all about the significance, the meaning, the enjoyment of an existence well lived. And standard of living and quality of life are not the same thing. Now, while not inherently mutually exclusive, they are so very often the opposites of each other. And if we pursue the one, standard of living, in the hopes of getting the other, quality of life, we are set up for major disappointment and even failure in life. Now, question. Between these two, which one do you think Jesus is more interested in you having? Yeah, quality of life. There's no doubt about it. And because Jesus yearns for you and me to have quality of life, he teaches us the discipline of simplicity. And it will ensure that we don't confuse standard of living with quality of life, and we can experience what Jesus yearns for us all to have. We're wrapping up a series today here at Connections called Breathing Room. Breathing Room is about how we allow Jesus to set the pace of our lives and also to create space in our lives for the things that matter most. It's about Jesus saying, here's what I want you to do today. Not this, but do this. It's all about Jesus managing our lives in a way that there's always room for the things that actually matter the most. And we're zeroing in on 3 areas where we, in our culture, tend to live without margin, without breathing room. And that's in our schedules, right? It's in our work-life balance, and it's in our finances. If we will allow Jesus to set the pace and create the space in our daily schedules, in our work-life balance, and in our finances, then we will find our stress diminishing and our peace growing, and we'll just enjoy life more. Because life is always better with breathing room. And today we want to talk about breathing room in our financial lives. And in order for that to happen, Jesus taught us the spiritual discipline of simplicity. Simplicity, that's what we'll talk about this morning. Now, simplicity is not a modern architectural, feature. It is not minimalism, even though they might be broadly related. But simplicity as a spiritual discipline would be best understood this way. It's to uncomplicate your life by living on less, so you can enrich your life by giving away more. There you have it. That's simplicity. Uncomplicate your life by living on less, so you can enrich your life by living on more. You see, the more stuff you have, the more complicated your life gets. It just happens. Like the now deceased prophet Biggie Smalls said, "Mo money, mo problems." It just works that way. And it's interesting that life is enriched not by what we accumulate, but by what we share. In fact, generosity really enriches our inner life, how we feel about ourselves, our sense of satisfaction. It enriches our world because we bless others and make their life better. And it enriches all of our eternities because God promises an eternal, never-ending, not fading away reward for the generous acts that we do here on earth. See, simplicity is about living an understated life. It's about living on less than we could live on so that we have margin. You do realize this is not the way things work in our culture, right? This is not the American way we're describing. I mean, here's the American way. Here's a typical income structure for most people who live in America. It looks like this. Over the course of time, you make more money. right? Now, I realize it's not always a straight line. I get that. But the reality is, as we go through our working lives, we get promoted, we land a new and better job, and our income tends to go up over time. It's just kind of the way it works in our culture for most people. Now, how do our expenditures tend to mirror our income? Well, kind of like this. It's almost a parallel line. And so the more money we make, the more money we spend. The more money we make, I can get a bigger house. I can get a better car. I can go on a nicer vacation. I can buy cooler gadgets. I can give nicer gifts. I can get, better clothes. I have all these sorts of things. In America, when that income goes up, our expenditures go right up with it. And what that means is we have almost no breathing room. The margin is so thin between what comes in and what goes out that there's just no room to breathe. 2 out of every 3 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. You know what that means? 1 paycheck away from financial disaster. When we live with no breathing room in our finances, our stress level gets really, really high. Our anxiety level begins to grow. If you are married or have a significant other and you're not married yet, there's fights and quarrels that can erupt, and it's all over money. It's just horrible to not have breathing room in our financial lives. And in America, the problem is often, not exclusively, but often because our expenditures just keep matching our income. Jesus taught us a different way, the discipline of simplicity. Simplicity, the income may go up, but the expenditures don't match the income line. They go up at a smaller rate so that over time there's more and more margin. We're living on less than we could live on, but because we do that, we have financial margin, and in that margin we feel free. We don't feel stressed. We actually have peace when it comes to money. We're not worried that something will happen and it means economic ruin. It just doesn't happen. I think there's a parallel in the world of like hiking and climbing. See, when you go out west and you climb or you hike, you often find yourselves in situations where you're on a trail, and just off the trail, there are drops of hundreds or thousands of feet. And if you go over the edge, you're dead. Now, some of those trails have no margin. This is the knife edge on Capitol Peak, one of the 14,000 feet peaks in the state of Colorado. And the last pitch before you get to the summit, which you see in the background, is called the knife edge. It literally is aptly named because it's a sharp peak, and on either side, it's 1,000 feet almost straight down to certain death. Now, how would you feel if you were navigating the knife edge? Your heart is beating, you feel the stress, you've got some anxiety because you know one wrong move and it's all over. It is nerve-wracking for people to navigate the knife's edge. But a lot of Americans navigate a financial knife's edge. One wrong move, one slip up, one problem, one layoff, and it is utter disaster. What a horrible way to live. That can be exhilarating. In our financial life, it is just defeating. Other trails aren't like this. If you were to make your way to the Grand Canyon and take the most common route down to the canyon floor, it's Bright Angel Trail. And when you're on Bright Angel Trail, you can come to spots where it's hundreds of feet straight down, certain death if you fell. But you know what? You don't sweat it because the trails are wide and they're well maintained. And because you've got margin, you just have a great time hiking away, talking with friends. It's awesome. Because when you've got margin, even though there's problems out there, you're not worried about it. The stress is gone. The anxiety is down. You know you're going to be fine. Same thing happens with money. When we have margin, when we have breathing room, because our expenditure level is here, even if our income level is here, it's just a stress-free way to live. It's also how Jesus wants us to live. You see, simplicity is how Jesus instructed his followers to live. Live a simple life. Practice the discipline of simplicity. I love how the Spirit of Jesus gave us these words through Paul the Apostle, and they're recorded in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6. He simply said this. He said, after all, we brought nothing with us when we came into the world, and we can't take anything with us when we leave it. We all know that. You came with nothing, you go with nothing. So, if you have enough food and clothing, let us be content. If you've got clothes on your back, if you've got some kind of roof over your head, if you've got some kind of food that you can eat, be content. You don't need more. Maybe you could get more, maybe you could have more, but you don't need more. Just be content with what you've got. What I have is okay. I'm good. Isn't it interesting that simplicity is driven by contentment? Content people embrace the ethic of simplicity. Contentment is just the idea that we look at whatever we have and we go, that's good enough. I don't require any more. I'm fine. That's what the word contentment means. You know, perhaps this will help us kind of understand this concept a little bit better. You ever been in a buffet line? You know how you go out to a buffet, and some buffets are like crazy with the amount of food types and dishes they offer. Last time I was at a buffet, it's been a while, but it was a breakfast buffet. And I mean, you walk up there and there's like eggs and omelets of any kind you could possibly want, and pancakes with every topping and syrup imaginable, and French toast and stuffed French toast. And then there was bacon, and there was steak, and there was sausage, and then there were all these breads and cinnamon rolls and everything else. And it was like, whoa, you don't even know where to start. Right? So you kind of pick a little of this, a little of that, a little of that thing. You go and you sit down at your table, and oh man, it is so good. And when you finish that plate, there's some part of our brains that go, that was enough. That was good. But then there's another part of our brain. And it goes, I paid, and I can eat all I want. So we get up, we get a fresh plate, and we repeat the process with all new food. And it's enjoyable, maybe not quite as much, but it's enjoyable. And when we get done, we go, oh, man, I'm full. But you know, I didn't have that cinnamon roll yet. So we get up and we have dessert, right? And we take it back and we eat it, and it feels so good going down. But how does it feel a few minutes or an hour later? Man, I ate too much. And then we can be lethargic, we get a blood sugar spike and drop. It messes up for the activities and the schedule of the rest of the day. And if you were to do that day after month after year, it would absolutely devastate your health. I think stuff, possessions, things money can get us acquired, I think they work the same way. I mean, when we finally have like, I've got enough food to eat, I've got a roof over my head, I'm good. But then the means to do more comes on our way, and we're like, man, wouldn't it be nice if we could upgrade our home? We could finally get rid of this car and buy a brand new, bigger one. Man, that'd be cool. Hey, you know what? Now we can afford this kind of vacation. Now we can buy this kind of gadget. We can get newer and bigger and better and do cooler and cooler stuff, and we go on and on. And after we do it, it feels exhilarating at first, and then you know what stuff turns into? Stuff. And it doesn't have the same feel that it had when we first got it in the early days. But to get the rush again, Once we have the means, we just get bigger, better, newer, faster, brighter, shinier, whatever the case may be. And when we do that long enough, it is devastating on our soul, and it will ruin your life. Contentment fuels simplicity. I spend money down here, even if my income was up here. I like that margin. That margin gives me peace. That margin helps me to be generous. Why is contentment so hard? I think it's hard. Okay, it's hard for me. I don't know if it's hard for you. Contentment can be a struggle. I think there are two convictions. I've been pondering this. I think there are two convictions, two things we are convinced of, that once we form them and then begin to experience them, they cause contentment to grow so that we can fuel a simple lifestyle. Here's the first conviction, that life doesn't equal stuff. That equals stuff. In other words, a good life, meaningful life, happy life, substantial life, the life I really long for, can never come by the things I possess. Impossible, can't be done. How did Jesus put it? He put it this way in the book of Luke, chapter 12. He said, watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist, it's not made up of, it's not comprised by an abundance of possession. Doesn't matter how much stuff you have. Life's never found there. Never. When I was in graduate school in South Carolina, I got a job working for Dick Curtis. He started the Curtis Carolina Corporation. He had invented some chemicals in the electroplating industry that took off, and he was raking in money hand over fist. I spent a year managing the warehouse every day, just shipping all this stuff out. Money kept flowing in. Dick Curtis ended up having a custom-built, self-designed house on the top of Paris Mountain in Greenville, South Carolina. Paris Mountain is actually a state park, but there's some private spots going up the mountain. And on the very highest lot, he custom built a home that 40 years ago cost multiple millions of dollars. And he was so paranoid something would happen to his house that whenever he'd go on vacation, he would hire me and my wife Sandy to go stay in their house while they were gone. That was a great gig. We went from our little 400 square foot apartment, right, typical grad school kids, and we're living this multi-million-dollar thing on top of the Spirit Mountain looking down over the whole city. And they would stock the refrigerator and freezer with all the foods that we like for us to eat while we were there. It was great. Well, eventually Dick got an offer for his business of tens of millions of dollars, so he sold. Then went on retainer at a very, very hefty salary to the company he sold his company to, took his tens of millions of dollars, sold his home on Paris Mountain, and moved to Harbor Town on Hilton Head Island. Now, Hilton Head Island is an island just barely off the coast of very southern South Carolina. It is a posh, exclusive, resort destination. It's got a world championship golf course. The harbor itself is just gorgeous. You've got beach, you've got all the luxuries. He bought a house right in Harbor Town, living the life. He had it all. American dream in spades, man. I kind of lost track of Dick. A couple years later, I ran into a mutual friend in a grocery store. In conversation, I said, by the way, how's Dick doing? And he goes, oh man, you haven't heard. No, what? Dick took his own life. His note talked about his hopelessness and despair and meaninglessness of life. See, Dick thought life equaled stuff. And the more stuff I get, the more stuff I accumulate, then the happier I'm going to be and the better my life is. But what he realized is, it's a lie. That isn't what happens. And he was so disillusioned and depressed by the emptiness of it all, he decided it wasn't even worth living. Contentment is fueled by conviction. Life doesn't equal stuff. So, what does bring life? Well, that comes from the second conviction. Is a conviction that God is enough. God is enough. Look what we're told in the book of Hebrews. It says, keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. You say, how do I do that? Here's how. Because God has said, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. You've got me, God says. Now, on one hand, that sounds religious. I got God, I'm fine. That means so much more than that. In fact, when we take the totality of what Jesus said, here's what's meant in that statement. Because you have become a child of God by faith in Jesus, you now can live as God's partner in the world to devote yourself to His purposes, which are meaningful and transcendent. His Spirit will both guide you and empower you into adventures that will blow your mind as you change the world and experience how awesome God actually is. That's how you have a quality life. That's how it's built. In the Old Testament, it's found in the book of Judges, chapter 6 through 9. There's the story of this man whose name is Gideon. Gideon had nothing. He was like sub-poor. He was poverty-stricken. The country he lived in was conquered by an invading army that was very cruel and harsh. They took all their money. They took all their stuff. They tried to eke out a living, growing a little bit of food. If the invading army saw the food, they'd steal the food. So they had to be super secretive about trying to keep enough food that they could eke out a living, just keep themselves alive. And one day, here's Gideon, the youngest member of his family, inconsequential family in this nation, and he had managed to grow a little bit of grain, and he was in a wine press. So he's kind of surrounded by stone walls, and he was hiding in there, threshing a little bit of grain so he had something to eat, and he might be able to feed his family. And in that moment of fear and poverty and irrelevance, God shows up. Got an invitation. Hey, Gideon, God says in effect, I invite you to work with me to liberate your entire nation from this invading army and set everybody free. And Gideon goes, you got the wrong guy. Look where I am. Look what I'm doing. I'm the least of the least. I got nothing. And God, paraphrasing, goes, you've got me. Gideon goes, all right, what have I got to lose? I'm up for an adventure. And through an amazing process, God leads Gideon to take a handful of people, several hundred soldiers, against literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of well-trained invading army. And they take nothing other than torches and trumpets. They ring the valley where the invading army is camped. And then in the middle of the night, they light their torches, they blow their trumpets, they shout the sword of the Lord and of Gideon. The army wakes up, freaked out, middle of the night. They begin fighting each other. They end up killing each other and leaving, but they leave all their spoils behind. And now their country is free, and they are rich beyond their wildest imagination. Do you think Gideon, the night after that happened, laid his head on his pillow and said, that was awesome. What a life. I was nobody. I had nothing. And look what I've experienced. See, I think in that moment, he was so richly satisfied with this life. He was so blessed as he experienced God and what God did in him and through him in the world. And that led to a life worth living that had meaning, because that's the only place the life we long for is ever found. Ever. Here's everything I've tried to say today. Jesus taught us that quality of life grows out of the practice of simplicity. Simplicity, remember, means to uncomplicate your life by living on less so that you can enrich your life by giving more. And this simplicity is driven by contentment. I got enough. I don't need more. Doesn't matter if I could get more. I've got margin. I got margin to act as a buffer. I got margin to release the stress. I got margin out of which I can give and be generous in the world. But the only way we become content is when we become convinced. Life doesn't equal stuff. And God is enough. Here's my challenge for you this morning. It's simple. It's a tough one. Pursue a lifestyle of simplicity. Pursuit, it's a tricky thing. Pursuit begins with a decision. This is what I will do. And it's followed by a long string of disciplined activity. Decision and discipline. Decision, this is what I will do. Discipline, I will carry out my decision. Not perfectly all the time, but the trend line is I keep working toward the decision I made. And believe me, it's hard because your habits work against you. Your culture works against you. The fruit of your former life before the decision is all working against you, but it's that belief. Life doesn't equal stuff. God is enough. I'll be content with what I have, and I will find a way to grow margin. I challenge you to pursue a lifestyle of simplicity and experience breathing room over the course of time with your money. Peace, not stress. Security, not anxiousness. The capacity to be generous. The way in your heart of hearts you want to be generous. And by giving, bless the world and build a life that matters. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for the opportunities of this morning. Thank you for teaching us the kinds of things that help us to live our life at the proper pace and build into our lives the right amount of space for the things that matter most. May we be people who practice the discipline of simplicity. May we experience the blessedness of breathing room. May we experience an enriched life by what we're able to give. I ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Man, what a challenge. You know, I think the longer that we live, the more we realize that life is really about relationships and purpose. And I think that's what Dave was talking about today. You know, that's one of the reasons why we exist as a church. You know, we exist to fix the brokenness of our world by connecting as many people to God, others, and our God-given purpose in life, because that's what God has created us for. You know, to be in relationship with him, to be in relationship with other people, and to fulfill a purpose in our lives. And yet so often we get distracted by things that really don't meet any of those requirements or needs that we have. And so as a result, one of the things that we do here that is at the core of who we are as a church is we offer connection groups. This is one of our main ways to try to serve the adults of our congregation, of our church. And so this is a perfect opportunity to kind of take what Dave has been challenging us with, analyze our lives, and get connected with other people who can help us connect more with God, with other people, and our God-given purpose in our lives. That's what these groups are completely designed for. And so I encourage you guys to check those out. There are so many great opportunities that are available right now. There are groups for men, there are groups for women, there are groups for couples, and for all different ages and stages of life that happen at different days and times of the day as well. And so I encourage you to check that out. You can go to our app or our website to do that. You can go to the Welcome Center if you need any help with that. There's going to be people there that are going to help you with that. And those things that we go through, man, they're just easier to do when we have other people in our lives. It's just the way it is. You know, I've spent this past weekend with our teens. at Bear Lake Bible Camp for their snow camp. It was a blast. It was so much fun. But that was kind of the general message for them too, is how can you take your relationship with God more seriously? And who are the people in your lives that can help you with that? And man, they're just having such a blast with it. And hopefully they're going to come back reinvigorated and excited to do that. Groups can be that for you as well. And so, man, I just encourage you guys to check that out. All of those things, the reason why those kids were able to go, a lot of that's because of your generosity. We were able to offer that camp at a highly reduced rate. Like something like, I don't know, half or maybe even a third of the cost, because of people's generosity here who said, hey, we want to help sponsor kids. Hey, we want to give on a regular basis. And so they were able to have this amazing time because of that. And so I just want to thank you guys so much for that. You guys are awesome, and it is making a difference in our community and in our church. And so if you'd like to continue to partner with us in that way, you can give in a few different ways. There's some boxes in the back. You can also give on our app and on our website. And so all of the things that happen here, it happens because of you guys. And so thank you so much for that. We've had an amazing time today. We've had some great challenges. We're excited to see everybody. Feel free to interact with each other in the lobby and have a great time doing that as well. Thank you so much for coming today. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. We'll see you all later.